My name is Avitoli Jimo. I, on behalf of the Indian Anthropological Association, would like to welcome all of you to this condolence meeting. We are gathered here to remember, to pay tributes to our departed teacher, mentor, guide, colleague, friend, and everything. I would like to start with my favorite verses from Ecclesiastes. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. I know that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and to do good while they live. And at the end, King Solomon concluded that, "So I saw that there is nothing better for a person than to enjoy their work, because that is their lot." And I thought about Professor Srivastava. He lived a good life. He was happy and he did good while he lived. And he enjoyed his work. And on that note, I would like to invite the Vice President, Professor Sukant Chaudhary, to kindly say a few words.
Well, it's very joking sort of thing, joking, how to speak. This is the fourth time I'm going to speak in the past 3 days from various organizations and from his family as well. Very heavy heart we are saying that how he could pass away. What all happened, we are in close touch. Suddenly on 23rd evening, his wife, my Didi, this message comes, he's gone with a cardiac arrest. Then, I mean, not a moment must have passed when we have not spoken, when we have not thought about him and not discussed about him or not written about him or not searched whatever he has written. Vividly we remember everything, and this is what we have been doing so far. And a brief piece which I have, it is 1/4 written, if not half written. I'll be reading it out because all the time I cannot speak. We got to speak something. That's how we little bit relax ourselves, because I'm speaking for the fourth time. So I'm little, composed. A little. I'll get relaxed. Let me read it out. Whatever I have written, the first draft. So with a very heavy heart, we are informing you that he passed away. Born on 3rd December 1952, he was brought up in a middle-class family, along with 3 sisters and a brother. Looking at his eloquence and perfection in English, it is hard to imagine that he was educated from a Delhi government Hindi medium school and would always tell me that he worked hard to learn this much, and his wife influenced him to learn English, not only in English, but also in other languages like Hindi, his mother tongue, and Urdu were such languages which attracted him the most. Often in the different sessions, he would indulge into Urdu couplets and poems. A very amiable personality, Professor Srivastava, taught me briefly, and I always called him sir, and he always mostly addressed me as Chaudhary Sahib. Our association goes back to 1986 when I attended his classes, subsequently developed friendship, which included a sharing of everything, including men talk and a score of many things. He went to Cambridge to do a PhD under Professor Caroline Humphrey in the Department of Anthropology in 1988 with a Commonwealth Fellowship. After doing a coursework, he came back to India to conduct intensive fieldwork among the Raika Rawaris of Rajasthan. He would visit Bikaner and surrounding villages frequently for 2 to 3 weeks and would be writing the details in the Department of Anthropology, University of Delhi. I very fondly recall that I used to take dictations from him on different things, including research articles. What a powerful storyteller! What a powerful storyteller! Once he dictated at a stretch 25 pages at a go in the sprawling lawn in front of the Department of Anthropology. It has been a great learning experience. Let me confess, I have learned the art of writing with anthropological and sociological vocabulary from him and only from him. Further, I owe a lot to him for imbibing editorial skills in me. Sometimes around 1989-90, we, that is myself and Professor Sumendra Mohan Patnaik, started writing research articles and also were given the task of discussing two joint issues of Indian anthropologists published by this IAA, Indian Anthropological Association. Um, and Professor J.S. Bhandaria and Professor D.K. Bhattacharya were instrumental in bringing out them. But the proofreading and editing, Professor Srivastav taught us how to do this. And simultaneously, a journal of human ecology was also published then by the late Professor M.K. Bhasin. He was the executive editor of that journal and would always keeping on inspiring us to write articles, to write book reviews, to publish things like this. Recently, he edited that ANSI, Anthropological Survey of India journal, in which some issues on M.N. Srinivas was being brought out, where he asked me, must have called me n number of times, and I wrote, and it has been published, and I sent the PDF to him, that is on relevance of methodology of M.N. Srinivas, today, some issues. So in this manner, there were many joint projects which are pending, and nothing will be pending. We'll try to fulfill his unfulfilled desires. His first major work, about a dozen books he has edited, and about 5 books he has authored himself. The first work was published from OUP, that was the Cambridge PhD, that was on Raikas and Ravaris. And he has related that is on religious renunciation of a pastoral people. He originally tried to explore the non-Brahminical perspective on asceticism and renunciation. The work demonstrates a close relationship between the mode of livelihood of a pastoral Raika, also known as Ravari of Rajasthan, and the tendency towards religious renunciation among them. He also edited all these books. You know, this is the first one. All of you know about it, the book. This is the first one. And this is another. This is in honor of Yogesh Atal. He was close to He was close to everyone. He was close to everyone. Professor T.N. Badan wrote fondly to me, I know Vinay since early 70s. Professor Bette, you know, he also told me something like this. He has been very close to all his teachers, all his colleagues, wherever he went. He was Anthropological Survey of India Director. Can you believe somebody tops in physical anthropology, MSc 1974, gold medalist, and also tops in Delhi School of Economic Sociology, 1976, then joins Hindu College, 1976, then joins Anthropology Department, 1985, then goes to Cambridge. In between, does MPhil with an O degree from Chinese studies under Professor K.P. Gupta, such a brilliant scholar. And he also, edited this one, Social Anthropology with Professor Sachidanand, and this one, Experience of Fieldwork and Writing, and this one, with Joyant Barwara of Dibrugarh, Issues in Contemporary Society, and this one, N tribes in India, and N number of books he has edited. And he has given a life to Anthropological Survey of India. I won't say what Anthropological Survey of India is doing. It was without any director for probably 16 years. And the past 3 years, he joined in 31st July 17 and was about to retire on 30th July 20, but he was given a 3 months extension, again another 3 months extension. Finally was to retire on January, end of January, but he is not there. What about retirement? He retired from life itself, and he has virtually retired all of us. I mean, we cannot think now, we will not retire, we will write down and we will continue his legacy. This much only I can say, and the Indian Anthropological Association must do something to cherish his memory. And he has written so much for posterity that he will never die. He will be always with us. Thank you very much. Om Shanti.
Anpurna and I are very sad to learn the great loss to our anthropology community. As an elder member of the community, I find this loss unbearable. Vinay was too young to leave this world. As director of the Anthropological Survey of India, he was in the middle of many important projects. Somebody from the survey will talk about it. The newsletter, the newsletter he started was a wonderful service, or was a wonderful source of information about what the survey was doing all over India. When he decided to make the Journal of the Survey as an international journal to be published by Sage Publications, he asked me to be on the editorial board, along with Subhadra Channa, Gananath Obishekare, David Parkin, among others. He invited me to write a piece on Gandhi for the journal. Now I'm going to dedicate that essay to the memory of Dr. Srivastava. I first met Binay when he was still a student in Delhi. But as Professor Chaudhary said, I really came to know him much better when Anpurna and our son Alok and I were in Cambridge during 1988-89. Anpurna was there on a British Council Commonwealth postdoctoral fellowship, and Binay had come there to do his PhD with Caroline Humphrey. He was a very good photographer, and he took many of our family photos. Some of them are on my desk at home as well as in my office. He attended a lecture on social anthropology I gave at King's College, Cambridge, for the Cambridge Anthropology Society. And after that, he interviewed me. He had kept the interview all these years. And when I saw him in Delhi in July 2004, he told me that he was going to publish it. He wrote me regularly. In fact, after M.N. Srinivas, he was the only anthropologist from India who really wrote me regularly. The last essay he wrote was Rethinking Community, with wonderful data he and his Delhi students had collected on various rural and urban communities. After I read this, I think he had written that in honor of Professor Behra. I suggested to him that one of the things we can do is really to encourage our younger colleagues to work in urban India with various kinds of communities, because 21st century is really going to be the urban century. We are going to miss Binay, his wisdom, his scholarship, and his friendship. But as Professor Chaudhary suggested, he is going to live in his students. And I, in fact, did not know that Chaudhary Sahab was Binay's student. And in his many, many contributions to anthropology, and in our memories of the time we spent together, may his soul live in peace. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, just a few. I only heard the news last night, and I'm still very much in shock. But I've been recollecting the incredible friendship that Vinay offered in the late 80s in Cambridge. And above all, I recall his humor and his wisdom. And I was wanting this morning to go to his books and feeling frustrated that I'm here at home in Cambridge and his books are in my office in London. So it's going to take me some time to reacquaintance myself with his wonderful scholarship, which of course will endure along with his legacy and his students. So really very sad news and cause for deep reflection.
When I came to Delhi University in 1993, I saw two legends. One was Professor Bhattacharya and one was Professor Vinay Kumar Srivastava. Within 3 years, both died. Professor Bhattacharya died in 2017. Professor Srivastava sir died on 23rd of December this year 2020 and cremated on 25th of December. The same day Professor Bhattacharya was cremated. It's a big coincidence. I don't know how it happened. And so we lost two legends from anthropology department, and they were very much associated with our association. Another things, I was going through his writing recent, one of the writing he has published in, I think, Journal of Indian Anthropological Society. He was very much concerned about the festschrift volume, which are lacking in Indian anthropology. And he felt very sad that in 70 years of in anthropology department, Delhi University, we are able to produce only one festschrift, in which we have. I was lucky one that he was associated. I was also associated with sir, and we wrote that festschrift. Sir wrote basically that festschrift with the honor of Professor Bhattacharya. So according to me, this will be great tribute to Professor Srivastava sir when we'll write as soon as possible good festschrift and publish from good publisher. Thank you very much.
I think it is a great loss not only to the community of anthropologists in India, but also the whole of the world. Great personal loss indeed, because those who have attended his classes, who have come in touch with him even for a small hour of time, unfailingly they have been touched, impressed, and ignited by his presence. Look at the photograph. The smile is still killing, and it is such a enticing smile. He lives in his smile, and such a smile can come up from a pure soul, a soul full of smile. The bundle of smile was Srivastava sir. Indian Anthropological Association is a site where generally anthropological colleagues work outside the office hours. And Professor Srivastava's most favorite hours were the evening hours. In the evening, he would sit down with the colleagues, friends, students we were his initial students, though never taught by him in the classroom, but outside it. And he would discuss how the seminar halls of the Cambridge would be echoed with the vociferous debate between Leach, Gluckman, other scholarly people. We have listened about the world anthropology from his mouth for the first time. In his writings, anthropology has discovered a boundary and a bridge. Boundary in the sense, he would always say that the boundaries need to be discovered to transcend it, to cross it. We need to cross those boundaries. Anthropology should be without borders. And anthropology should create the bridges with other disciplines. And that's what he did. Immensely contributed at different points of time to the growth of this association, along with Professor Maan, Professor Bhattacharya. He was also a part of the editorial team. And when he was looking after this editorial team, he would personally invite, the way Professor Pandey said, he would personally invite many of the scholars to contribute to the journal. And he would never leave a stone unturned to convey the wider public through this association what is the need of the hour in terms of an anthropological requirement, public policy, and other inputs. We have his scholars, his colleagues from abroad, his colleagues from India, his students who have gone abroad and settled in very coveted positions. And I have told Avitoli, and Avitoli also knows that Avitoli is going to invite them. But at the same time, I would also like to share with you some of the personal moments which I would spend, Sukant would spend with Mrs. Srivastav, Kumkum Didi, with Sonal, his daughter, with Gopi, Tushar, his son. And this morning, Tushar was telling, Gopi was telling, the real crux of his passion, that how he was passionate about everything he did. The travel in an auto, the travel in a taxi, the travel in a small rickshaw, he would connect to the person, connect to the driver. He would really be so passionate about his welfare. I mean, a person of greater soul depth, greater depth of the being. The family is here, and the family has been very kind to share a small video which the children, Sonal and Gopi, prepared. And maybe Sonal would like to speak something after we play that video. It shows how he was a family man. Though we all know him, that much of his time was spent in the department, much of his time was spent in the profession. It's really unbelievable to know how he could manage time at both the ends, at the end of the family, at the end of the profession. Remarkable way of handling time for Srivastav sir. And we'll go with the small video which the family has prepared, and especially the children have prepared, and they have been very kind on my request. They've been very kind to permit us to screen it here, and maybe after that, Sonal or Gopi will speak. Sonal would like to say a few words now or later? Or
I'll say it now.
okay, bolo bete.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for giving so much love, respect to my father and being there for the condolence meeting, talking highly of him. I feel him around everywhere in the house. I still feel every morning he used to give me a call. Are you okay? How's your health? How are the children? Beta, do you need any money? Anything you need? I said, "Nee, Papa, I'm fine. I'm good." I miss him around everywhere. Every room I go to, I think of him. I sleep on the side of the bed where he used to sleep. I sit on the side of the sofa where he used to sit and work. I feel his soul everywhere. Everywhere I see him, I put his photos. My screensaver has his photo for the longest time. My Facebook has his photo. Everywhere I just feel his presence everywhere. I still feel he's around. I still feel he's in Calcutta and the doorbell will ring and I'll open the door and he'll be there with his briefcase. I miss him. I miss him so much. Thank you.
Take care, Sonu. I think we all are in the same boat. Miss him every day, every moment, and every time. But this is, we have to face it and we have to live with it. And that is so true that Professor Srivastav is not in his body. We have lost his body. We have lost his mind. But we have not lost his spiritual presence, the inspirational presence which souls like him bring to the world after ages, after centuries. And this is a moment when we should pay tribute, get inspirations, and try to do the dream which he cherished for anthropology, for the whole community, for the whole world in an uninterrupted manner. He was lucky to have a daughter like you. You were lucky to have a father like him. We all were lucky to have a teacher like him. And he was best in everything, whatever he did. So, may I now request Professor Basa is with us. He is Vice Chancellor, North Odisha University, very close friend. And Professor Basa he was also there in Cambridge, but not at a time when Srivastav sir was there. May I request him to pitch in here? Professor Basa?
Yeah, you see, I do not like to engage myself in analyzing his academic contributions, which most of you are more competent than me. I would just like to say a couple of things. First, as Director Anthropological Survey of India, he finished a very difficult job of a study of All India Survey of denotified tribes. I think this was a project from Niti Aayog and he has completed, and if I am not incorrect, perhaps he has completed the editing of it. He's one of the very well-known anthropologists who could make a balance between the theoretical aspects, perspective, as well as his field work. But what has moved me most was the kind of a very intensive interaction with him right from my Bhopal days when I was director of IGRMS, and he used to come and interact with my colleagues. What is, all of us know Vinayji, but then to me, the most important characteristics of Vinayji was that he makes you feel as if you are the most intimate to him. You know, I think this is the experience of most of us. I think he's the closest to me, but many other people have got that kind of feeling. That is the reason, you know, all of us are mourning his loss, and a loss which is irreparable, a loss which we find it very difficult to accept. But the thing for which I was most moved was, like him, I was also struggling for COVID, September 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. These 3 days were very crucial. And Professor Somendra Patnaik was there in Bhubaneswar. He used to send me messages, but I couldn't send him back because I was struggling for my life. I survived. And I came back on 4th of October from the hospital. And I think 7th or 8th of October, there was a call from Vinayji. And when he called me, I responded. And when I responded, I was finding it very difficult to talk. And at that time he said, Kishore, you don't talk, I'll speak. I can't forget, when I say this thing, this is, I can't forget this sentence. This sentence is buzzing me right since 23rd of December. I went to Bhubaneswar for a meeting. In the morning, I had interaction with Kumkumji by exchange of messages. And in my wildest imagination, I never thought that he will know more. But at 6 o'clock, I think 6.5 minutes past 6, I came back home and I found that there was a message. And just one sentence, he's no more. I mean, I couldn't believe it then. I can't believe it now. Vinayji, I think I cannot forget you, the kind of interaction we had. And I think until I die, you will be in my mind. You will be in my memory. Thank you.
So nice to learn and so nice to attend the meeting on our dear colleague and dear friend and dear student, Vinay K. Srivastava. I always called him Vinay because as everyone is talking about, he was very close to everyone. And although I was mostly interacting with him initially as his teacher, but we were very close at a personal level. After I joined the department as a teacher, when he also joined the department as a teacher, we would meet very often, at least 4 or 5 times we met with the ghazals over not just cup of tea, but over a beautiful dinner prepared by Kumkumji, very lovely hostess and a great ghazal singer and poet. She could recite Urdu poetry at length. So I still remember and would always cherish in my life the meetings we had, the kind of, Vinay's personality was very warm personality, right, with everyone. So I still remember those days when we would meet quite often over dinner. He was deeply involved in the subject of anthropology. And I remember how hardworking he was. Still, many things are very clear in my mind. But apart from the hard work, he was a brilliant speaker. Not many of us are gifted the way he was. Later on, I learned it was not just a gift of the gab, but he had always prepared for every word he spoke. He used to jot down many small points in the diary, which he always kept. He would take it out from his pocket and jot down the points. And even in ordinary conversation, if he heard anything which struck him, he would jot it down. So it was a very well-planned interest in anthropology, well-planned, active anthropologist. I have a personal memory. We had conducted field work for the students and with the students in hello.
Sir, we can hear you. Sorry for.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Should I continue for a few moments?
Yes, sir. Sir, continue.
All right. Because I heard some voice, I can't see anything because my video is not functioning. And 1 month, almost about 28 days of field work in Nagaland. For the first time, I saw him very closely. His ghazals, everyone loved. There were 9 students and all girls. I thought they were all in love with him, not only as a teacher, but even as a person. That was the kind of personality he had. When we were working in the village, we met a person who was an ex, whom we called rebel or something, or Naga, who worked with the Fizo, and he had been rehabilitated as a teacher. He had started or opened a small school for the children, and he was now for Nagaland and not fighting. He told us a long story about his life with a vow that we would not publish it, we would not publicize it and keep it as a secret. So I'm not talking about what all he did, what all he spoke, but this was a meeting which lasted for about hours, 4 hours. I was there for about 2 hours and lost the patience. But Vinay continued to write and listen to him for next 4 hours, right? And because of his oath, and the Nagas believe in the oath very strongly, because of his oath he had given us or taken from us, neither of us wrote a word about it. So the kind of interest he would take in everybody's life, in events, this was an event, not just a life of a person. So that kind of, so I've seen him doing field work very intensively during those 24 days. 24 days we were there, or 28 days we were there. He was a brilliant speaker, but he was a great writer. I think if you start, everyone has talked about his writings, right? I have not read each and every writing, but some of them I have, and they are absolutely deep, very simple to read, seemingly simple to read, but great understanding of the anthropological knowledge, anthropological background of those writings. One could visualize, one could make out, one could feel in it. So I have lost, one thing more I wanted to add, the department is what it is today is not only because of him, but he has played one of the major roles. There are others like Patnaik ji, like many, almost all of you have contributed. And as an old teacher, old man of 82 years, going to be 83 within few days, I feel very proud of all of you, and especially of Vinay, that we have all somehow feel that we managed to inspire you in spite of many of our weaknesses. Personally, I have many weaknesses, and my students, our students have excelled me at least in every field. That is the biggest moment of pride, and that is a kind of tribute I pay not only to students, especially to Vinay, as an example of that group of students who have brought anthropology department from what it was to what it is now, so that even the old teachers feel proud. Professor Tiwari, when I told him about the meeting, asked me to pay his regards to all those who are conducting the meeting, and he was very happy. He doesn't have this system which we have. Even I don't have the proper system with me. And so there is a handicap. I can't see you, you are not seeing me, but all the same, we pay tribute to Vinay as a friend, as a student, as a colleague. Thank you so much for inviting me to say a few words.
This is a very difficult time because, for me, it's so difficult to contemplate, even in my wildest of imagination, that, a day would ever come when I would have to lose one of my most favorite teacher, Professor Vinay Kumar Srivastav. Because not only was he a most charismatic teacher, a person who used to be so thorough with his knowledge about the subject. It's mind-boggling at times. You know, he's like a man possessed when he's giving a lecture. Just before the start of a lecture, he would be, giving, just talking, on a one-to-one basis. And the moment he takes the podium, you can't imagine, it's like a man who is possessed, and his delivery of lecture would be such, it's a delight, to attend. To my mind, I think any lecture, any, seminar that he has given, on webinars that he has given, I've attended all of them in my, in my department and elsewhere. So it's very difficult for me to comprehend all these memories of the past 35 years or so since my student days till just the other day, because I used to frequently meet him, because he used to come to the Northeast, he used to come to my department. And so this has been a very long association from, my student days till now. As Marwa Saab was saying, that taking us to the field, when he came to Guwahati with us 9 students, about the professors and Jagdish. So all of them, my father brought them to my house. We all went to Kamakya temple, which Vinay sir and other Marwa sir, they have thoroughly enjoyed. And after that, we went to Nagaland. And during the course of fieldwork, the kind of lessons that now I'm understanding the value of those lessons, Vinay instilled in us the value of quality fieldwork. Those days he talked of thick descriptions, and today I understand the value of such work, and it will always remain in my mind. In my humble tribute to him, I owe all of whatever I have learned, from him, to him, I owe it to him. So of course, I don't like to repeat what everybody has said. They have all talked of him as a great teacher. Undoubtedly, he's one of the best that I have or anybody has ever met, I think. In addition, a very, very fine field worker. Now, going to a particular community and studying the community is not only field work. In his everyday life, every interaction that he has had, he has been able to prove a point. In fact, once while he was traveling to Northeast, and he told me that he was in need of a cab, I quickly booked someone reliable. And that taxi driver told me, what a person, you have sent me, such a wonderful person. And this man, without Vinay telling him, was there at a particular time when Vinay was on his return trip, and he on his own picked up Vinay and dropped him at the airport. Vinay Srivastava was so touched by this. I can't think that these are the simple things. Then once Vinay was telling me in Calcutta while he was the director, such a humble person, he would do his own chores every day. Then he used to wash his own clothes. He told me that he'll never give it to anybody else. He would do his own thing, make his own bed. And he was so humble that his personal stuff was in awe of him. He used to, brush properly, both the times, 3 times, twice, whatever. Seeing all these actions, the little children in that community, they all imbibed these good habits, hand washing and other kind of things. So he was able to make a dent, change lives of people. And in fact, once Vinay Srivastava was telling me that in Calcutta where he stayed, those, like his personal orderly, the other, cook, etc., they used to bring their children to learn from him things. They used to tell about the others. So from these information, he was able to touch the lives of all these people in some way or the other. I think as an academician, we don't see all these things. But when a third person comes and tell you, for example, the taxi driver told me, because I arranged for that cab, he told me that such was the greatness of this person that they both shared a meal together. So it impacts the lives of people in some way. And Vinay in this sense was so magical in his personality that he used to touch their lives. In 1999, when during the Indian Science Congress in Chennai, I also had gone there. I think D.K. Bhattacharya sir was then the sectional president, and we went to attend. So Vinay and Kumkum Didi was also there. So we all, and my husband was there. So we took a personal trip. After the session was over, we went to Mahabalipuram, then we went to Pondicherry. And you know, Vinay, he would not allow me to, bear any expenses. He said, no, no, to me, you are a student. You cannot, so it was very touching. In all the times, he used to be providing guidance. And when he learned that I joined Guwahati University as a teacher, the first thing he did was gave me his publications, whatever was available. This will help you in teaching. He used to write with benediction from Vinay Kumar Srivastav, or with sincerely Vinay Kumar, always used to write. Anybody who comes to the Northeast, he used to send his books, the Oxford University publication, he sent it through R.P. Mitra, who came and gave it to me. Again, he wrote there a personal note. I was so touched, I've never met such a person. And for me, it is a personal loss. It is a great loss. And as Basa Saab was also telling, because of the way he used to treat people, I think everybody felt that a part of our heart has really gone. So I only wish that his soul finds peace. And I offer my heartfelt condolence to Kumkum Di, to Sonu, to Gopi, and to all his near and dear ones, and hope he continues to bless us from wherever he is. Thank Somendra ji and all in IAA for giving me this opportunity to speak a few words today.
Namaste to you all. Really, I am from the day of his demise, I am not able to control my emotions. Every day I'm thinking about him, because not just as a great teacher of Indian anthropology, not just as a great researcher, great leader of institutions, but he was personally grooming me for the past 15 years. Though I know Professor Srivastav sir through his writings when I was a student, and also when I was a teacher in a college. But later, after I moved to Pondicherry University, my interactions with him grown much closer. And from that time onwards, though I am a teacher, but I was learning much more and more from him. And here, I'm not here to tell about all his works and all of us know, but certain of some of his great qualities, one or two I would share. See, he has written a lot. We have read his works, books, articles and all. He also is such a humble person that even a small research scholar or a teacher who writes less, who publishes less also, those works also he used to read them with the passion. Another interesting thing I want to tell you, in Indian anthropology now, by his demise, we are facing a vacuum. But what is that vacuum? The Indian anthropology, there are roughly, you can have 2-3 legacies. One legacy is the, I would say, Malinowskian legacy. What I would call Malinowskian legacy means the people taught by Bronislaw Malinowski, like D.N. Majumdar. And D.N. Majumdar established a legacy in Indian anthropology, which was continued by Professor N.S. Reddy, Kopal Sarna, and quite a lot of people. And this way, exactly, there is also another legacy of Indian anthropology, which was cherished by Srivastav. But this legacy, started from Ratcliffe Brown as one legacy by Malinowski, Indian anthropologist got. Another legacy trained by Ratcliffe Brown, from Ratcliffe Brown to M.N. Srinivas, M.N. Srinivas to Andhra Bete, and Andhra Bete to Professor Vinay Kumar Srivastav. And there are a couple of other strands. And Professor Srivastava is a professor of anthropology, but he is highly respected, and his writings are well for the development, for the contributions of sociology as well. That is also we have to remember. Another interesting thing, see, whenever any researcher, any scholar do certain small good thing, also you would immediately appreciate such a great people. Such a wonderful person, getting appreciation from a great person, that young people or the people get motivated, they get encouraged. And so in fact, I have imbibed his, I have taught myself, though he didn't teach, I was not his direct student, but I have heard his lectures, so many lectures in the universities and the seminars. And I myself have invited him to Pondicherry University for the benefit of the students. And during those lectures, though it is an annual affair, only Professor Srivastava's lecture used to attract students not only from anthropology, sociology, social sciences. Somehow, not even, we don't even publicize that even such a big manner, but it used to be attracted by the so many scholars, and people used to always talk about, discuss about his views, all these things. And yes. Visited department several times personally. He has visited my house, and and I tell you, such a humble person. Sometimes I used to feel little I don't very often call him, because thinking that he is very busy person, very active, I should not disturb him frequently. But such a great humble person, at least once in a fortnight, some or other, he would call me and tell me something, or to do this thing, or to come. He used to invite me, or he would advise me to do these things and all. So unassuming, great personality. And see, we can't believe that Professor Srivastava has gone from us, and he lives by his writings, by his way of life, by in appreciating the people, respecting the people, kind-heartedness, pleasing personality. So we will he will live forever with us. And thank you.
Thank you, Professor Challa Perumal. Professor Sundar, would you like to say a few words about Professor Srivastava?
As head of the Department of Sociology, I would like to offer condolences from the entire department. We are really, many of us have been taught by him. I personally was taught by him at Hindu College, and he was a brilliant teacher. I've never had lectures which were so clear, so analytical, and so easily, as a young sociology student, that's what really got me interested in the subject as well. And many of my other colleagues have also been taught by him or interacted with him. So as a department, we're all very sad. And I would like to convey our condolences to his family and to his colleagues. And also use this occasion to say that I hope we have a lot more interaction between the sociology and the anthropology department in Delhi University. It's been very sad that we don't really meet each other that often, and it takes an occasion like this, a very sad occasion like this, to be able to meet so many people from the department that we have so much in common with. So once again, condolences to family and colleagues, and we'll miss him. Thank you.
What to say? So much has been said, and as Sukan said, this is the fourth. It's almost like I want to share with everyone. I want to be with everyone. As people don't understand what he meant to us, especially the Navratna, as Kumkumji said. He has taught us so much, not only anthropology, about life. And this morning, you all were saying Faiz Ahmad Faiz's poetry. I remember I used to live in the hostel. So as Soumendra and Sukant have said, Vinay used to be in the department forever, basically. And we were Velas, but I was also his MPhil student. So he had pushed me to write my thesis. It was so tough. So I had worked with the Saharias, and I had just in the middle of my fieldwork, I got admission, both first in Oxford, and I had accepted it, and then I got in Cambridge. And I was in two minds, but I was so tired, I opted for Oxford. And then I realized that Cambridge had a whole Naga project. He pushed me to write. He pushed me to finish my MPhil thesis. He said, doesn't matter if you are going to Oxford in 6 months' time, you have done your fieldwork, you are going to write that thesis. He pushed me. I wrote the thesis, I completed it. And it was under all kind of circumstances people don't realize now. It was load shedding and things. We didn't have computers. We had to go to people to get our thesis typed. And he helped me finish it somehow, and even got my viva. My viva happened in the morning of the day. In the evening was my flight to UK. I was exhausted. But he told me before going that the examiner said the thesis could have been put for a PhD. I mean, that shows the way he supervised, the way he pushed me to do fieldwork, to collect data, to write. And that time, Dumo's book had just come out, the South Indian Subcaste. And he said, try and see, how he structures everything and try and write it in that manner. And just a month ago, a few months, in August, he had contacted some of us to contribute to a book he's co-editing. He was co-editing with Professor P.C. Joshi. And he had asked us that, we could call him and things. He said, call me and talk to me. And then I was telling him, because he was also keen that I publish my Saharia thing. I made a film on it, wrote a couple of articles, but didn't do much. And about Faiz Ahmad Faiz, I remember he introduced me to his poetry because I spent so much time writing that Saharia thing that he even gifted me some beautiful Urdu poetry books. And he explained to me that, the poem seems like a love poem, but it is a revolutionary poem. It is an anti-fascism poem. And I always remember whenever that poem is recited against anything, there have been a lot of protests about many things. And I always remember that he was the one who introduced me to Faiz Ahmad Faiz. And I have been reading his article again. Some articles I had forgotten. I had completely forgotten some articles. And then I thought, my goodness, I remember reading this long ago, now I don't. And I was thinking, my goodness, such a wide range of articles he has written. If we can even read his 100 or more articles that he has written, we would know so much about anthropology and how to write. Very accessible writing, actually. And I would just request, I think the biggest tribute and thanks from his students to Vinay would be to read his article and to write our own articles. I am kicking myself like anything. He asked me to contribute to ANSI. I was reading his email yesterday. He had asked me in October last year to contribute, and I kept telling him, yes, I'm writing, I'm sending. I was still sending him things just when he texted me that I'm in ICU. I think the only tribute one can pay to him as a teacher is to write our research in accessible manner, so that, because I think when I believed in the adage that sharing knowledge is gaining knowledge, and that is something we should always remember and take it forward.